Oh my goodness, this is so cool. Alrighty, so what I got here is a genuine aftermarket RS-232 connection, or Ethernet connection too, for the Fadal. We can try and unwrap this one-handed. There we go. That's the... I of course got it from FadalCNC, and you can see it's LANUSB -FAD. And what else we got in here? We got a USB connector for a bulkhead. We got an 8 gig SD card. That's nice. We got a power cord. What else? What is this? Oh, hardware. Got a DIN rail. And is this instructions, or what is this? Oh, this is a magnet. Oh, that's cool. It's got little commands. DE to go between the different files, and the looks like the different parameters. That's cool. Cal motion. Maybe someday I'll get that for the machine. Let's go ahead and stick this on the... Where do we stick this? Let's stick this right here for now. For now, we'll stick you there, even though you won't totally get flat. All right. What else? What else? What else? We got a USB cord, so that probably connects to the USB bulkhead connector, and maybe goes to there. So we can have USB. We got Ethernet. We got SD. We got all the connections. And then, of course, oh, these instructions also. I don't have to go online and look up something. So that's cool. You can follow along, follow the bouncing ball. And looks like that's it. Awesome. So, in this video, we're gonna set this up. And we're gonna, I don't know, from this computer or from my computer in the office in the house, we're going to send a program to here, and maybe we'll make chips on that thing. So, all right, let me peruse these instructions real quick, and I'll come back and act like I know what I'm doing. And there we go, easy as pie. It's all installed. So it took me a few days longer than expected. One, because I had to go get some other hardware stuff, but I also had to figure out some software. Just to give you guys a quick run around before I get into the details. Here is the board. We got Ethernet cable going to that. We got power and a USB coming down here and plug it into there, as well as the RS-232 connection back here. Oh, one thing too, that's one thing I had to get, is this Ethernet port. I just took the panel off. Where's the old one? Here's the old one. I got the old one. I had to just take that off and connect that guy. I made my first Ethernet connection. So there we go. I had to also route this line up and down over there, and then I also went ahead and moved all my router and wireless connections. They were down here. I think you guys can see the holes. There's one there and one there, where the bracket for that was down here. I now moved it up there. One, because my Ethernet cable was only so long, and I thought it would be better up there too. One, for signal, and then secondly, so I can move the toolbox finally over here, and I can start cleaning up all of that. So that was all done during this process. But Oh, one thing to note, just so in case anyone else is doing this, for the Ethernet connection, I don't know if it matters. I know there's some options you could go with. I got the card here, or the instructions here. I didn't know this until I did it, but there's 2 data application wiring schemes you could go with for those connectors when you do those little push-in connectors. So you can see here there's T568A, and then there's the B version. Doing some research and then just getting lucky, I wired up the B version, which you can see that really the only difference between these two are the orange and white, and the green and white green cables are switched between B and A. But I wired up this B version. I'll try and stick a better picture on the screen if you can't see that. For that, and so far everything works. So if you guys ever get this board from FadalCNC, the instructions are that right there. Those 12 steps. They're pretty straightforward, but they're also pretty basic. And if you haven't dealt with FTP setup like me, it could be a little bit challenging on the software side, but it's actually pretty straightforward once I figured it out. So I'll go over that in a little bit, but first I'll go through the steps and just show you what I did. So the first step, of course, power off the machine. Then we got the 12 volt power supply connection. So that's this guy, this little barrel connector right here. You can see it snakes around. I also put in some cable management over here. Sorry for the light. Let me get that out of the way. So I put some cable management, and this cable comes around, and I'll try and get in. Goes to the positive 12 volts that is right here. So I got that, and that is the black line with the white stripe. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. And then I also got the ground. So yeah, there's the black with white stripe, and there's the black. So the black runs down here and it goes to the ground. So black, white stripe, positive 12, black only, goes to ground. So I got that runs around. And so going on to the step number 3. Oh, step number 3 is just locate a position for your board. So I chose right there. I was gonna put it over here, but then I noticed these fans were gonna just blow a bunch of dust on them, and I haven't cleaned this off. There's still some fan stuff there, you know, dirt. So I moved it over there, and you can see I drilled through the bottom of this and screwed that DIN rail down. Then I put the board on. During that same time, I wired up the Ethernet port, bolted that on. It actually looks, you know, kind of nice. And then I also had the RS-232 port that was here, was there, but I unbolted that and swung that down and around and connected it back here. One other thing I did was, you can see this USB cable that came with this kit, and so it snakes around here, and I still have all the covers off, but it comes up through this access, comes around, goes over here, and I had to snake it down through this hole, which is kind of a little bit of a challenge, but if you can push the cables over both on the top and the bottom, you can kind of snake it down in. And then it comes down here, and then I was gonna put this bulkhead connection right here, but I found out that I don't have a drill big enough for this guy. Let's see. So I think the biggest step drill that I have is like a 1/4 inch smaller than that. So I need to get a new one to drill this, and I'll put it right there, and so I can have a USB connection, and I'll have the SD card, and then just the FTP, you know, access there as well. So that's pretty much it. Oh, one thing to note about the power supply cord: when you connect it, one way to check if it's good or not, or it's the right wiring, is on the wire on the little barrel connector. You got the barrel on the outside of the barrel, it should be ground, and then on the inside should be the positive 12. So if you measure those two, you know, put the negative of your multimeter on the barrel, put the positive on the inside, you should get a positive 12 volts. So that's a quick rundown of the wiring for this. Super straightforward. Once you, for me, in my case, once I got all of the supporting stuff all taken care of, that all just dropped right in. And then we can confirm. Let's see here. So on the control side, once you have that all hooked up and you want to test if it's connected and it's correct, you would type in the change device. Oh wait, hold on, let me go to, there we go. Wait till you get the enter next command. Do CD, 10. That's the change device command, and then the 10 is the baud rate, which I think corresponds to 34,000, whatever that 30,000 baud rate is. I forget what it is. So you do that. I found out you have to do that before every command you want to do before you access the board that's back there. So I do that, and then just a quick little, you do I, and then for all the commands for the Fadal board for the FTP, you got to push the plus sign after every command, and that's really the signifier, the special, you know, key for after all those commands. You do that, and then you're accessing, you know, those commands. So here we go. We have some communication with the board. So you got the IP address there, the mask, gateway, and DNS. All of those are listed, and so this is what's important to us. This is the default number from FadalCNC, and you can actually change that if you wanted to, but for this example, I'm going to leave it the way it comes, and then I'll show you guys how to set it up on the computer. So we got this here. There's other commands too. I think they're also listed. Where'd that book go? So if we go back to the book, I'll go grab it real quick. So the instructions for installing it is here, and then the rest of the instructions are the commands, which I'll try and put a link in the description for the actual PDF version of this. But it basically goes through the commands for the actual Fadal board. And then the setup, network setup that they specify. I didn't exactly follow this for setting up the FTP. I'll show you what I did. Oh wait, I was going to look up a command. So just to show you another command that I can, you know, show that this thing is working. Oh, directory. All right. So we'll go back to here. So remember CD 10, enter, and then we'll do directory, and then the plus sign. There we go. We can see that what programs are on here. So you can see I've already thrown a test program. It's just a text file. Just a text file with the word test on there. This is actually the list of the programs that are on the board, or on the FTP site. Oh, and then you can also do, I wonder if I can, oh, I can't do that, come on. So I'm still green to this a little bit as far as the FTP and the board. So I don't know if I'm just missing something, but I know if I do this, type CD 10, and then we can do help. Plus sign. It shows a whole bunch of different commands. So you can access the SD card, you can access the USB, the FTP server. Sorry, I keep coughing, I don't know why. And then just, you know, a whole bunch of different other commands for, you know, deleting, loading, a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's, here, we'll go back to the directory. CD10, and then directory, dir, plus sign. All right, so you can see that there's the LANUSB.ini. That's basically just the INI file, really the setup file for the board. That has the IP address and all that information in there. And here's my test program that I did before, you know, just to make sure it was working. So if we go over to my computer, you can see that I already got it hooked up. So LANUSB, I got that there, here. This is just in Chrome. If you type in FTP : / and then the IP address, which is it's just your local address, and then this is what comes default on the. I don't know if you guys can actually see. I'm highlighting it, but. The .111. So this is just in Chrome if you try and access that. But then you can also set up a new network location and actually have File Explorer, so you can actually drag and drop. See, I had this test file. I created it over here, and then I just dragged and dropped it in there. Yeah, sure, I'll replace it. So I got this working now. Let's go to my inside office, because I haven't set that one up yet, and we'll go through the steps on how to set this up, and then maybe we'll do a test file from there and see if it works over here. Alrighty, so we are back in the office now, and let's just go ahead and show you guys from the office. I already got there the FTP. I can actually go in and access what's on the board now. One thing to note, you know, it makes sense if you think about it, but actually I didn't realize it until I tried to access this, that the machine or the board has to be turned on. So with to have the board turned on, you'd have to have the machine turned on in this instance. So to be able to send programs to it, it has to be on and running. So what I'm thinking in the future is maybe I have the machine turned on already, or it's going through its warm-up cycle, and while it's doing that, I can go to the office or wherever else, program or post, you know, whatever program, and send it here, and then go out there and run it. So this is just a list. This is you know, again via Chrome. But if we go to Windows Explorer, you just open up, you know, My Computer or Explorer, and then either right-click on your PC or your network. Just right-click and go to Map Network Drive. And when you do that, it keeps popping up in the other window. This will come up. So this is where you typically will, you know, name whatever drive and show where you want to go. But don't do that. You want to go down and click this, connect to a website that you can use to store your documents and pictures. So you click here and bring it over again. So we go through this wizard, go here next. So here is where you would type in that same FTP address. So FTP : oh yeah, I already got pre-populated. Click that. And you can choose if you want to log in anonymously or if you want a certain username, but I just have it anonymous. Click next, type the name for this network location. Let's call it Fadal VMC 15, in case I get a different VMC in the future, I don't know. So, click next, and it should be on your network now. See, look at there. So it pops up. Where did it pop up? Oh, down here on my network. So we close this. This PC. So I have it here now. So now I can see the same files that are over here in Chrome. If you just try and go and see the list, here you can actually see the files. So let's just do a little test here from this computer. We'll just change this to test 2. We'll save that, and let's go see if we can get the same file. It should be, this is just a checking communications back and forth, but let's go back out to the shop, and we'll see if that changed to test 2, and then from there we should be set up to be able to transfer a program. So I'm super excited about this. So let's go out to the shop, and we'll see if that program switched over. Alrighty guys, so we are back out at the shop, and I still have this window open. I don't know if you can see it here, but I still have the old file name in here. I'm on the FTP, just at the list on Chrome. I'm gonna hit refresh. It just changed to test 2. Let's go over to this guy. So this is the actual File Explorer location. It's still got the old file name in there. Let's refresh this. Changed it to. Awesome. So the last place to check is here. So let's just jump over to here. CD, comma, 10, enter. And then, what's the other? Oh, directory. dir +. Hey, look at that. We got test 2. So we can clearly communicate and send files to and from the FTP server, and be able to communicate with this old dog right here. Teach an old dog new tricks. So we're good over there. We're good over in the office. It seems to work. So next up, this week I got tooling coming in. As far as end mills, and then I also got coolant coming in. So those are the 2 things left that I needed to do before I can make some chips over here. So that week's gonna happen, or that's gonna happen this week, and then we'll be able to orient this. I probably do that off camera, get this all set up, and then just have it really waiting for the tooling and the coolant to come in. Oh, and just so you know, for the coolant, I'm going with the Blazer BlazoCuts 2000. I contacted my local rep, and they recommended that, and they're going to hopefully come out and help me set it up. It's not too difficult. I mean, it's coolant plus water, but he wanted to come by and see the shop, so I was like, okay, fine, come on out. But that's pretty much it, guys. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I got this guy installed. Unscrew it. Got everything buttoned up, the doors are closed. I put all the paneling back up. This is all closed up. That guy's on there too. So far so good. USB port is connected, so I can plug a USB in there. I can plug an SD card in there, or send files through the network to go into the machine. This is super awesome to have an old machine that's I'll say up to date as far as communication. Now if I can be able to screw this back on, it'd be great. So yeah, thanks for following along, guys. Hopefully next video I'll just have everything set up, and we'll be working on my first project right here. So thanks for following along, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.